Hi, my name is Mike, and with a face for radio and a voice for print, I'm here to show you how to set up the Get to Objective Logic stamp. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what I am referring to, Build the Rocket Boy has released a tutorial titled Part 2, Adding Driving Objectives, which is what I have linked down in the description if you'd like to check the video out for yourself. I was checking that thread on Discord when I came across this comment. User Dirty Cat asks, "Are you sure the Get to Objective logic works as shown here? It looks like you just place it and it works, but I can't get it to give me a waypoint." And then I thought to myself, you know what, self? They're right. If you place down the Get to Objective logic stamp and then just try to run the game, it's not going to work at all. They forgot to include a tiny step, and I'll show you how to get that working. If you don't care about the how or why it works, you can just click on the timestamp below that says just show me already. However, if you'd like to learn more about the stamp, event nodes, and string nodes, then stay tuned. Here we are at Store Metro Coffee. At least that's how I think you say it. I want this to be my GPS and objective destination. So, I'll place down the Get to Objective logic stamp like they do in the video. But again, if I just press start, nothing is going to happen. If we take a look at the three boxes we have available, we have the play button in orange and two pink boxes. Mousing over them, we can get a bit more information. The top box is our orange play button, the activation input. I covered input and output boxes in my previous video at 2 minutes 33 seconds. The second box says slot to customize a wireless event channel name, and that's a mouthful. In the bottom left of the screen, you can see the tooltip. It reads, a custom channel name. Event of the same name activated from another node will activate this node over distance. Default channel name is set objective. That bit at the end there is important. The third box says slot to customize objective text, and its tooltip reads, default value of this logic is set to get to destination. It might be a little confusing right now, but I'll go over these two pink boxes in greater detail in a little bit. Alright, so how do we make the stamp work? We need to either connect a trigger to the orange play button, or change the default text of the slot to customize a wireless event channel name. I'll show you the first option because it's the easiest. All you need to do to get it working as quickly as possible is hook up some kind of trigger. If you watched my last video, you know that I like to use start nodes for testing. So I'll do that here again. We'll also go ahead and add a delay node. If you don't know why, my last video explains it at 6 minutes 55 seconds. Once we hook them up, we'll give them a little test and see what happens. I'll just move over here to this empty lot so we have some room to draw the GPS line and do our test. We'll need a vehicle, so let's go ahead and get out our trusty Coupe Sport. In the red metal, of course, and give it a test. And you already know, test early, test often. And there you go, the quickest way to get the GPS and objective markers working. I'll just drive over to our newly created GPS waypoint and make sure that it completes once we get there. Perfect. Everything seems to be working fine. But what if we wanted or needed to customize it a little first? Back in the editor here, So how do we go about customizing this stamp for our needs? First, we'll go ahead and disconnect these start and delay nodes and just move them out of the way. And this is where I'm going to talk about the pink boxes. Remember when I said the default channel name set objective was important? Let's talk about event nodes now. To help explain event nodes, I'll show you a mock-up of something I created real quick. I have a couple of nodes all set up over here, and way over there I have some more nodes set up. As you can see, there's these orange connections between the two. It's not so bad right now, but if you add 40 more of these, then it starts getting hard to follow. So, we can use an event node instead. Build.Rocket also uses the word wireless interchangeably with event nodes, so if you see wireless somewhere when they're talking about nodes, think event node. The way these work is that it takes the inputs from one side of the arc to the outputs on the other side of the arc without having those orange arrows everywhere. You just have to make sure that the event name is the same on all the nodes that you want to have the same interaction. So let's go ahead and give it some name. Doesn't really matter. Something that's easy for you to remember and is related to what you're using them for. I'll call this trigger event. Now, it can be whatever you want it to be, but they must match exactly. Then, I will disconnect these orange arrows on the outputs from our cylinder trigger and reconnect them to my event node's input box labeled send. This will send the on enter output from the trigger that I set up to any other event nodes that share the same name. So, in order to make sure I have the exact same names, since we're going a bit of a ways, I'll just copy paste it. Now that I have the other half of my event node down with the same exact name, I'll then click on the output box received, because I want whatever I connect this output to activate when my trigger on the other side is sent off through the send input. Now we don't have these orange arrows spanning all over the place. Another way that you might be able to think of this is, let's say like a walkie-talkie, or for you younger folks, a cell phone. They're both wireless. You talk into the receiver on one of them. On the other side, they hear your voice coming out the other end. So, it's essentially the same kind of concept. Back over to our event objective logic, we can see in the lower left there that the tooltip says that the set objective is the default channel name. So, we'll copy that channel name exactly as it's written into our event node's event name. Now, our event node is all set up to talk to the event node inside this objective logic stamp. I'll crack this open real quick and give you guys a peek inside. Don't worry, we won't get into the weeds about what's in there and how it works. We're just showing you that the event node is inside of it, and if you look at the name, it's already set to set objective. Now that our event names match, let's go ahead and hook up this event node so that when we start the arc, it talks to the one inside the stamp and kicks the whole thing off. So we test it and it starts from just having the event node triggered. Now, we'll talk a little more about the pink boxes. In this editor, a pink box means that whatever input or output box has that color, pink, will either accept or send text input. I believe that in regular programming this is called a string entry. With a string node, whatever text is in the default string line will be pushed by the output box of the string node to whatever pink box it's connected to. It's useful for updating nodes with specific text, descriptions of events or objectives or commands. There's a number of use cases for it. With our event node, we copied the default channel name, setObjective. But what if you already have some event nodes out there to set up your scenes? You can put the name of those already existing event nodes into the event name field on the string node and change what the event node inside of the objective logic's name is without having to crack it open like I did earlier. On our string node, we will use the exact name that we put into our previous and now new event nodes into the text field. Then we click on the outputted text, and connect that to the objective logic's slot to customize a wireless event channel name. That's what we're effectively doing inside of the logic. Now, if you take a look at this automatically send value dropdown, you can see a few options here. One of them being on game start. This is kind of the same thing as the start and delay nodes that I set up earlier, except we don't need those anymore, at least for this string node. The string node already kind of has those nodes already built into it if you use this setting. So, now our event node that has the same event name of coffee run start matches the name in the default string on our string node, and it's set to automatically send that text over the objective logic, and when it does, it will overwrite the default name setObjective of the event node inside the objective logic when the arc starts. But the cool thing is that this isn't permanent. If you delete the string node, it will go right back to being called setObjective. So, one more quick test later, and see that it is working fine. So, let's go ahead and take another look inside after our test was complete. You can see the event node inside of the logic is still setObjective. Our string node did not permanently override it at all. And now, finally, I'll talk about the second pink box, slot to customize objective text. The objective text is that name that's been in the bottom right of our tests saying get to the destination. I want to change that objective name. I rather would like it to say get to Strumento Coffee. So I will duplicate our current string node and change the default string to the objective I want it to be, get to Storm Metro Coffee. I'll check the string node to make sure it's still set up to automatically send the value on game start. Then I will connect the output box, outputted text, to the input box on the objective logic slot to customize objective text, and then test it one more time. And as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, we have our new objective set correctly. I'll go ahead and hop in and just drive over to the coffee house, make sure everything works correctly. And there you have it. That one was a lot longer than I thought it would be. I apologize to any who stuck around the whole time, and I hope it was helpful. If any more ideas come to me for tutorials that I think might be helpful, maybe I'll make some more. Thanks for watching.